Why chasing success leaves you empty. The billionaire's guide to what actually matters. What if I told you that the richest, wisest, most successful man who ever lived looked at everything he'd accomplished and said it was all meaningless? What if the person with unlimited wealth, absolute power, and legendary wisdom wrote a book basically saying, "I tried everything and none of it worked"? That man was King Solomon, and his ancient insights explain why so many successful people today are more depressed, anxious, and empty than ever before. By the end of this video, you'll understand why our modern pursuit of success is fundamentally broken and what to chase instead.
Welcome to the first episode of our 12-part series called What Really Matters, where we dive deep into the book of Ecclesiastes, Solomon's brutally honest assessment of what actually brings fulfillment in life. Now, before you think this is just another religious video, let me tell you something. Ecclesiastes is probably the most secular book in the Bible. Solomon barely mentions God for most of it. Instead, he approaches life like a scientist, running experiments on happiness, success, and meaning. And here's what makes this incredible. Solomon had resources we can only dream of. Imagine having Jeff Bezos' wealth, Einstein's intelligence, and unlimited time to pursue whatever you wanted. That was Solomon's life. He could literally try everything. So when this man, who had it all, tells us what works and what doesn't, we should probably listen. And if you're ready to discover what actually matters in life, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because this series is going to challenge everything you think you know about success. Today, we're starting with Ecclesiastes Chapter 1 and Solomon's first shocking discovery. The success we're all chasing is actually a trap.
The Vanity Declaration. Let's jump right into Solomon's opening statement. He says, "Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. What profit has a man from all his labor in which he toils under the sun?" Now, that word vanity doesn't mean being obsessed with your appearance. In Hebrew, it's hevel, which literally means vapor or breath on a cold day. It's something that appears substantial but disappears the moment you try to grasp it. Solomon is saying that most of what we chase in life is like trying to catch your breath on a winter morning. It looks real, it seems important, but when you reach for it, there's nothing there.
The modern success trap. This hits different when you realize we're living in the most success-obsessed culture in human history. We have more self-help books, productivity hacks, and success gurus than any generation before us. We're constantly optimizing, hustling, grinding. But here's the problem. We're also the most anxious, depressed, and suicidal generation in recorded history. The same technology that was supposed to make us happier has made us more isolated. The same wealth that was supposed to bring security has brought comparison and inadequacy. Let me share some data that would blow Solomon's mind. A recent study by Harvard found that people making over $250,000 a year report higher levels of anxiety than those making $50,000. The World Health Organization reports that depression rates are highest in the world's most prosperous countries. We have everything our ancestors dreamed of, and we're miserable.
The Jeff Bezos paradox. Take Jeff Bezos, for example. In 2019, he was literally the richest man in human history. He had built Amazon from a garage startup to a trillion-dollar empire. He had achieved the ultimate success story. That same year, his 25-year marriage fell apart. His personal life became tabloid fodder. Despite having more money than most small countries, he was dealing with the same human problems we all face: loneliness, relationship failure, and the search for meaning. This isn't about picking on Jeff Bezos. It's about understanding that success, as we define it, doesn't solve the deeper problems of human existence.
Solomon understood this 3,000 years ago. He looked at the endless cycle of human striving and said, "One generation passes away, and another generation comes, but the earth abides forever. The sun also rises, and the sun goes down, and hastens to its place where it arose." He's describing what psychologists now call the hedonic treadmill, the idea that we quickly return to a baseline level of happiness despite positive or negative life events. You get the promotion, buy the house, achieve the goal, and after a brief high, you're back where you started, emotionally. But instead of just observing this from the outside, Solomon decided to test it. He was going to use his unlimited resources to run the ultimate happiness experiment. The Robin Williams reality. This reminds me of Robin Williams, one of the most beloved comedians of all time. He brought joy to millions of people, was incredibly successful, and seemed to have everything going for him. But behind the laughter, he was battling severe depression. When Robin Williams took his own life in 2014, the world was shocked. How could someone who had achieved so much success, who brought so much happiness to others, be so deeply unhappy himself? The answer lies in what Solomon discovered. External success cannot heal internal emptiness. The rat race recognition. Solomon continues, "All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. To the place from which the rivers come, there they return again." This is one of the most profound observations about human nature ever written. No matter how much we achieve, we're never satisfied. The goalposts keep moving. The bar keeps getting higher. I see this constantly in the entrepreneurship world. I know people who started businesses dreaming of making $10,000 a month. Once they hit that, it became $50,000, then $100,000, then $1 million. The number changes, but the dissatisfaction remains. The comparison trap has made this infinitely worse. We're now comparing our behind-the-scenes reality to everyone else's highlight reel. Instagram shows us curated perfection. LinkedIn shows us career victories. Facebook shows us family bliss. But here's what Solomon observed. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. We have access to more information, more entertainment, more stimulation than any generation in history. We can watch any movie, listen to any song, learn about any topic instantly. Yet we're more bored and restless than ever.
The memory failure. Then Solomon drops this bomb. There is no remembrance of former things, nor will there be any remembrance of things that are to come by those who will come after. In other words, even if you achieve something great, it will be forgotten. This sounds depressing, but it's actually liberating. Most of the things we stress about achieving won't matter in 100 years. Most of the embarrassments we're worried about won't be remembered next month.
The wisdom pursuit. But Solomon wasn't content to just observe the problem. He says, "I gave my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all that is done under heaven." This is where it gets interesting. Solomon decided to use his wisdom, which, according to the biblical account, was unprecedented in human history, to figure out what actually brings fulfillment. He was going to approach this scientifically. He had the resources to try anything, the wisdom to analyze the results, and the honesty to report what he found.
The modern research. What's fascinating is that modern psychology has essentially confirmed Solomon's findings. Studies on happiness consistently show that once basic needs are met, additional income has diminishing returns on well-being. The famous Princeton study by Daniel Kahneman found that emotional well-being increases with income up to about $75,000 per year, then plateaus. Making $150,000 doesn't make you twice as happy as making $75,000. Meanwhile, the things that do correlate with long-term happiness and life satisfaction are relationships, meaning, gratitude, and service to others. Essentially, the opposite of what our culture tells us to pursue. The celebrity depression epidemic. Look at celebrity culture. These are people who've achieved the ultimate success by our society's standards: fame, wealth, adoration. Yet, celebrity suicide rates are significantly higher than the general population. Anthony Bourdain had everything: a successful TV show, best-selling books, the ability to travel the world eating amazing food. But he struggled with depression and ultimately took his own life. Kate Spade built a fashion empire and became a household name. But she battled mental health issues that success couldn't solve. The list goes on and on. Success, as we define it, is not the answer to human happiness.
The millennial crisis. This is especially relevant for millennials and Gen Z. These generations have been sold the idea that if they just work hard enough, follow their passion, and optimize their lives, they'll find fulfillment. Instead, they're dealing with unprecedented levels of anxiety, depression, and what researchers call achievement pressure. They're caught in a success trap that promises everything but delivers emptiness.
The Solomon Solution Preview. So what's the alternative? Solomon spends the next 11 chapters answering that question. But here's a preview. It's not about giving up on achievement or becoming a hermit. It's about understanding what actually brings lasting fulfillment versus what just looks good on Instagram. Solomon discovered that meaning comes from accepting the seasons of life rather than fighting them, building deep relationships rather than accumulating followers, finding contentment in simple pleasures rather than chasing the next high, understanding that there's something bigger than yourself at work in the world.
The perspective shift. The key insight from Chapter 1 is this: most of us are optimizing for the wrong metrics. We're trying to win a game that can't be won. We're chasing vapor. But once you realize the game is rigged, you can stop playing it. You can start focusing on what actually matters. This doesn't mean becoming lazy or giving up on goals. It means understanding the difference between meaningful work and meaningless striving.
The success audit. So how do you escape the success trap? Let me give you 4 practical steps you can take today. Step 1. Conduct a success audit. Take 15 minutes and write down everything you're currently chasing. Be honest. List your career goals, financial targets, lifestyle aspirations, recognition you want, experiences you're pursuing. Now ask yourself, if I achieved all of these things, would I actually be happy, or would I just set new goals? This isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. Solomon says the first step to wisdom is recognizing the vanity of endless striving. Step 2. Identify your vapor. What are you chasing that's actually just vapor? Maybe it's social media validation, likes, followers, comments, keeping up with friends' lifestyles, impressing people who don't really matter to you, accumulating possessions you don't actually need, achievements that won't matter in 5 years. Write these down. Recognizing vapor is the first step to stopping the chase. Step 3. Define enough. One of the biggest problems with the success trap is that it never defines enough. How much money is enough? How much recognition? How much achievement? Without a definition of enough, you'll never stop running on the treadmill. Solomon learned this the hard way. So define enough for each area of your life. How much money do you actually need to live comfortably? How much recognition do you need to feel valued? How much achievement do you need to feel successful? Write these numbers down and commit to them. Step 4. Start optimizing for the right metrics. Instead of optimizing for external validation, start optimizing for internal satisfaction. Instead of metrics like net worth, social media followers, job titles, possessions owned, start tracking metrics like quality relationships maintained, days you felt genuinely content, times you helped someone else, moments of gratitude you experienced. This isn't about becoming a saint. It's about measuring what actually correlates with life satisfaction.
The daily practice. Here's a simple daily practice that will help you escape the success trap. Every morning, ask yourself, what would make today meaningful? Not productive, not successful, meaningful. Every evening, ask yourself, what did I chase today that was just vapor? What did I do today that actually mattered? This simple reflection will gradually shift your focus from meaningless achievement to meaningful living.
The liberation. Here's what's liberating about Solomon's message. You can stop trying to win an unwinnable game. You can stop optimizing for metrics that don't actually make you happy. You can stop comparing your life to everyone else's highlight reel. The success trap is seductive because it promises that happiness is just one more achievement away. But Solomon, who achieved everything, is telling us that's a lie. This doesn't mean giving up on goals or becoming mediocre. It means pursuing goals that actually align with human flourishing rather than just social approval.
The journey ahead. We're just getting started on this journey through Ecclesiastes. Solomon's going to take us through his systematic experiment in finding meaning. He tried pleasure. He tried building projects. He tried accumulating wealth. He tried intellectual pursuits. In our next episode, I Tried Everything, we're diving into Ecclesiastes Chapter 2, where Solomon describes the most comprehensive happiness experiment in human history. He literally tried every form of pleasure and achievement imaginable, and I'll tell you exactly what he learned and how it applies to your life today.
Your homework. Before our next episode, I want you to do that success audit I mentioned. Really think about what you're chasing and why. Are you pursuing these things because they align with your values, or because that's what everyone else is doing? Solomon's journey through the success trap led him to discover what actually matters, but he had to face the emptiness first. If this episode helped you see your life differently, smash that like button and subscribe to this channel. Share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And let me know in the comments, what's one thing you're chasing that might just be vapor? Remember, the goal isn't to become cynical about achievement. It's to become wise about what's worth achieving. I'm Emmanuel, and I'll see you in the next episode where Solomon takes us on the ultimate pleasure experiment that makes modern hedonism look like child's play. Until then, remember, true success isn't about catching vapor. It's about building something that lasts.